let's start in the home of football. No, I'm kidding. All right, sorry, Saudi fans, but you can make the point because they have the Super Cup.
Yeah.
They have Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And that's where, obviously, it's a 4-team semifinal format. Real Madrid playing Valencia, and it went all the way to penalties.
It went to penalties, which might be surprising for you or for the ones who thought that Real Madrid were a heavy favorite, which they were. And they took the lead as well in the first half that they controlled pretty well, I thought. Played some good stuff, maybe could have scored a second. And then the second half, they just came back from the dressing room not being ready for it. And Valencia scored very early in a poor goal to concede from
it was a really bad goal.
Really poor. The cross from Lato and the finish from Lino was just
it's not just that, but the Lato cross, Nacho's playing left back.
Yeah.
And you would think you're a center back. Your natural thing is to close people down, right? No, he's like 2 meters away from him.
Yeah.
And he's go ahead, I dare you, I double dare you, cross it. Cross it.
I know no one is going to score. Oh, no. And then, yeah, so after that, it was more or less game on, even if Real Madrid had plenty of chances. And Mamadashvili, the Georgian goalkeeper, Valencia, had a really good game and made great saves, especially in extra time as well on the Vinicius chance, for example, the big one on the Toni Kroos's shot. But then Valencia had a chance to win it at the end. Perez was on his own and Courtois made a huge save. So it went to pens. And then I think we all knew once he got to pens that Real Madrid were going to be the winners.
About Perez, fun fact, which I didn't know until recently, is who Perez's dad is.
Go on. No, I don't know this.
It's legendary Valencia winger, Rufete.
Okay.
See? There you go. I'm glad I can impart.
Yeah.
I don't think Valencia played poorly at all, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
With Real Madrid, I think what we are noticing, and this team feels thin to me. Now, not just a center forward issue, which we'll get to in a minute, but Toni Kroos being asked to play in the there was no Chouameni, obviously. Kroos being asked to play in that position is not the same thing. It's not. It might work if you're going to go and try to play with 60, 70% possession, which Real Madrid don't generally do. It's just not comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, Camavinga started and got injured. It's another injury after the Chouameni one and the Alaba one, by the way. And let's hope that the other two are out for 3 weeks. Let's see what Camavinga exactly has. Then you bring Luka Modric to halftime, which maybe was earlier than what Carlo would have liked to. I don't know. But then that changes, obviously, the dynamic as well of your team. And maybe that's why as well the second half was slow to start with. That was not as good as the first half where they had more control to it. But it's clearly an area where that's why I think they're being linked with Jude Bellingham. That's why they're in for Bellingham. They're going to look for someone else as well to come in the summer. And we're not sure what's going to happen to Luka Modric's contract and to Toni Kroos' contract at the end of the season as well.
We're going to get into that more on the Gab Juls podcast, but I want to take a step back because I think a lot of people, including I certainly was surprised. Obviously, we're both big Carlo fans. I've known Carlo and Rino Gattuso for many years.
Yeah.
What he said before the game.
I know. I love that beef. That really was unexpected, and that how they won trophies together. Obviously, 2 Champions League as a manager and player, but then fell out and not really explaining why. They just stop being friends, basically.
So the thinking, and again, I haven't spoken to Carlo or to Gattuso about this, but people close to them suggest it has to do with when Ancelotti was replaced by Gattuso at Napoli. If you remember, there was a player revolt against the club after when the president wanted to make them go and sequester them in a hotel. Ancelotti said no, the players are grown-ups, blah blah blah. Eventually, Ancelotti was sacked. The team did much better under Gattuso, and the thinking was, and De Laurentiis says, "Oh look, Ancelotti was too kind. They weren't training properly under Ancelotti." It's not like Gattuso says, "Oh yeah, I whipped him into shape," but the feeling there was some resentment from Ancelotti's side that maybe Gattuso didn't come out and say, "Well, no, actually."
Oh, kind of
fine.
defending.
It's weird. It doesn't seem to fit Ancelotti's personality.
No, I didn't think he did resentment.
It's a strange one, and they say, "Oh, but it's a sporting disagreement, not a personal disagreement." It certainly felt frosty last night.
Yeah, he did.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.